Hey guys, welcome to the Cypress Swamp Habitarium. We're going to do the feeding today. We wish you could be here in person, but show goes on around here with the animal care staff and the animals. As you can see, they're ready for it. We usually do this feeding about 11 o'clock. This represents a common ecosystem around here, which is the Cypress Swamp, as I said. These are the species that you've seen here. We have catfish, yellow perch, white perch. See some carp going by here. A lot of these fish are local and you can find right outside the water adjacent to our property. And so we're going to feed. This is essentially divided into 3 sections. This is kind of what we call the small side. And this is where we have the smaller fish. You can probably see some of the smaller catfish here. We use this exhibit to grow them up, and then we'll move them over into the larger section. We have to keep them separated because some of the larger fish will eat some of the smaller fish. So what I'm feeding today, actually, since they are smaller fish, I'm going to show you, we're going to give them small pieces of food. We have some striped bass fillet in here. There's striped bass. This is crayfish meat, right? And then we have fish gel, which is a fish meal-based diet. So I'm going to broadcast feed this, meaning I'm going to broadcast it widely so they all get a chance. If I dumped it in one section, they would all eat it at one time, all the more aggressive fish. So if you guys kind of watch here, I'm going to start throwing food in here. Get it all around, and you'll see they all come around. They're used to being fed. We keep everything on schedule, so when we finally get you guys back in the museum, you can come watch this live. And in person, in the meantime, these guys, just like any other animal, feeded by the catfish. Who knows what'll come up or not? We'll see it. So you see how the carp use suction to suck in the pellets. They usually do that along the bottom, but we use these floating pellets so they can get to it without the catfish, because you see the catfish down below, they'll eat just about everything. So we have to keep the carp feeding separate because they're actually pretty shy fish. So we're going to move over to the larger section. So you can see why we call it the larger section, because we have the larger fish. These catfish are essentially the same species that are over there. These are channel catfish. We also have a big kind of light pinkish tangerine catfish coming over here. It's actually a amelanistic catfish. You see them right there. There's 2 of them. They're really neat. They're the same species. You'll see there's river sliders, yellow belly slider, a couple red belly sliders in here. And they'll get knocked around a bit, but they're fine. Turtles are tough. You see them kind of competing with the catfish a little bit. And you can see obviously everybody's very well fed. This guy here is really neat. It's called a bowfin. Really kind of ancient fish. Have been around about 300 million years. The interesting thing about a bowfin is that they can breathe and gulp air, so they can actually live out of water up to 24 hours, which leads us to the gar. You'll see a gar in here. Our aquarium curator, Patricia's gonna feed the gar here in a minute. We've actually trained them to tongue feed. And so there, if you look over here, they're all waiting for Patricia, and they all kind of line up. It's actually really neat. So she's gonna go ahead, this is Patricia, the aquarium curator, and she's gonna feed each one of these gar to make sure they all get food. Not that they need it very badly, but...
So the reason I'm feeding the gar separately, they're a little more passive of an animal. They're more ancient species, as Chris mentioned about the bowfin. They have a very simple jaw that can only move up and down just like these tongs do. So they're not as aggressive towards the food, say, as the catfish are. So they get fed individually. But somehow they still seem to get enough food. Here comes the bowfin again. I'm also feeding the gar a mix of striped bass, fillet, in long, thin strips so they can grab it more easily, and crayfish tail meat, and that can also change to some smelt or whatever other freshwater diet that we have available to us. So if you turn around, actually, there's some waiting behind you. Oh, you missed. So you can actually find these guys in freshwater all over the place, and they have an interesting adaptation. They have a remnant lung in their system, so you can actually see them come up and gulp air in areas of low stagnant water, swampy waters. So say, for example, a lot of these come from Lake Matoka in Williamsburg, and you can see that roll. It's called rolling when they come up and gulp the air from the surface. So they're specially adapted to live in low oxygen waters. We have a lot of gar, so this is taking a little while, but I guess all of you chime in if you have any questions.
Comments about can't wait to come back?
Yeah, we can't wait to have people in here. It's nice we enjoy doing this, but there's usually kids running around. We're getting a lot of questions. We're not getting any. If you guys have any questions, please ask. You got any other comments there?
No.
Okay. So we'll be doing feedings. This is kind of our flagship here. So we're going to start with this one, but we're going to be doing the trout feeding tomorrow. We're going to be doing 2 o'clock CBA feeding, which is our big tank with the shark. So we'll be tongue feeding the shark, so that'll be fun. So we'll also be doing Saturday. Travis, our herpetology curator, will be feeding these turtles here. I think I'm feeding them right now, which I'm not. And then, so we'll also be feeding the touch tanks. So we feed the horseshoe crabs upstairs and kind of interacting with that exhibit a bit. That's usually one of the more popular ones. So if you guys come back and see either the 2 o'clock or 11 o'clock every day, we'll have something for you. And feel free, if you don't get a question in now, you can ask us online or contact our marketing or even the curators that you met. So, sorry, we've got a question here?
Troy asked, how long do gar live?
Gar can live quite a long time. They don't, generally fish that don't move very much. You'll see this big guy right here. They can live, 20 years or so. So these guys are pretty big. They grow pretty slowly. Obviously in the wild they don't live as long as they would in captivity, but they do really well in here. They have very little stress and they don't expend much energy.
How many gar are there, and what do they? How many are in the tank?
I think we have about 20. We have so many, it's hard to remember. We have about 23 in here, and we've gotten them from a variety of sources. Some we've saved that have been in, some we saved out of the sewer that someone called about. Some we've got from Virginia Institute of Marine Science that were tagged as part of a research project. We got some as transfer from Virginia Aquarium. So we really enjoy the gar. They're one of the staff favorites by far. They're really tame and interesting. And again, this is another one. I didn't mention these guys, but these are an ancient fish. They've been around. Patricia Brown said it, 200 or 300 million years. And again, they gulp air. They're very common in this area, even though they're the only gar species we have. You guys are probably familiar with the alligator gar, which traditionally have got 13 feet. But these guys kind of max out. One of the ones here is about the biggest one you'll see. But oh, I got another question.
We have want to know if fish can get sick.
Oh yeah, fish can. Yep, fish can get sick. Part of our job. That's one of the reasons we're here all the time. We have to monitor their health. Fish get a variety of diseases just like anything else. A lot of fish diseases, since they live in water, are borne by other animals or insects or something in the water itself or in the substrate. So the cleaner you keep a tank, the less likely you are going to have for disease. A lot of the disease issues comes from, like, an amateur mistake is having a bunch of food at the bottom. Come see it in person, that would help out a lot, but when we open you can come by and we can talk to you directly.
One of the questions was, can gar harm you?
Can gar harm you? Well, they do have actually quite long teeth. If they did bite you, it's like needles, so it's not like they're going to take a chunk of flesh out, but it'll be like a bunch of little puncture wounds. But they quickly realize that you don't taste like food, and they essentially bite down, kind of prick you with their teeth, and then let go. So you're not gonna lose a finger or anything, but it hurts. I've been bit by one or two. You got another question?
Thank you to Dawn's third grader who's watching,
Oh yeah, thanks. That's cool.
and Robin's second and fifth grader who are watching.
Oh, all right, fun.
Okay.
You guys have to again come see us.
There was a, how often do we feed each of the fish?
It depends on the fish. Someone asked how often we feed the fish. This gets fed every other day, essentially. Some fish with higher metabolisms or smaller fish that are still growing get fed daily. Some fish you can get fed multiple times a day, like the seahorse. We breed seahorses here, so they get fed multiple times a day and could actually use like continuous food. So it depends on the fish. Usually, one of the mistakes people have at home is overfeeding fish. Some of these look like they're a little healthy, which they are, but we try and limit their diet. Most everything gets fed, I'd say, about every other day. The next bout of fish is about every day. Next frequency. Okay. Well, appreciate you guys showing up. We'll try and give you more content, better camera work, everything. Each time we do this, we're gonna really give you stuff and respond to your questions. So hope to see you at 11 o'clock some other day or 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Stay tuned to Facebook.
Yeah, stay tuned to Facebook, and we'll keep updating it and let you know what we're going to come up next with. Thank you for coming.
And also, just stay tuned to all of our natural learning. Go to the website at thevlm.org. Stay tuned in to all our social media platforms and our website. And we'll continue to bring the Virginia Living Museum to you in your home. Thanks for watching.